It looks like Jesse Bates is not going to report to training camp, or at least there's the reports that he's not going to report to training camp and play um, under the franchise tag, which you can understand. Certainly to us fans or even people that played football at a high level, $12, $13 million a year looks pretty good, right? But I understand whatever his rationale is, that's his choice. If you haven't figured it out by now, watching my channel, or if you're new to the channel, the title is definitely clickbait. Look, Jesse Bates might not be worth, you know, a huge amount of money to the Bengals because of who they're going to have to sign eventually. Resign Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. I feel like you have to keep those guys. They may not be able to afford Jesse Bates and those guys. But Jesse Bates is damn sure worth a lot of money to other teams in the NFL. So the title is a little bit of clickbait. Look, you're talking about a guy who's had over 100 tackles 3 out of the 4 years in the NFL. Last year only had 88 tackles, but I think that was because the defense was improved in 2021. Clearly, vastly improved. The talent level was improved. The execution seemed better. There were more guys around the football. It makes sense that Jesse Bates would make less tackles. Had an impact at all 3 levels. I'm going to try to show you up 2 of those levels here. I think I only had 1 interception in the regular season last year, and then 1 in the playoffs. But makes plays, if you ask me, at all 3 levels of the defense. Very smart, communicates well. I think incredibly highly of that Bengals defense. I did multiple videos on my other channel about their defense, particularly during the playoffs. Great run defender, defends the pass well. This is playoffs against the Titans. You're going to get this deep hook or comeback by the number 1 receiver, which I believe is Julio Jones. Then the number 2 receiver, which is A.J. Brown, is going to run kind of like a wheel or just an out and up. But in any case, Bates is back here at free safety, which is kind of like his typical alignment, middle of the field. He does play some half-field stuff, which I will show you. He's clearly reading the quarterback. He's very versatile. In this video, I hope to show you at least 3 different reads that he's using. Reads meaning the keys that he's looking at. Now, I do think that A.J. Brown should Julio Jones should sit this route down sooner, to be honest with you. I think he's pushing it a little too far vertical. He's bringing this safety into play by running it as vertical as he does, but you can see the eyes that Bates has. He's got tremendous anticipation. Great film study, I'm sure. Extremely well-prepared defense. You look at how they played in the second half of every playoff game, and I just don't know how you don't praise them. You don't see Bates in this screen right now, but you do see Tannehill's face mask looking here, number 1. And you have Julio Jones and A.J. Brown over there. So obviously some people who only look at things on a surface level could say that's clearly where he's going. You've got 2 tight ends over here to the other side of the field. But we know that the Titans' offense takes advantage of tight ends. They use tight ends in the passing game often. So Jesse Bates was in the middle of the field. He stayed true to the alignment of the formation. Great break on the ball. Great ball skills. Good tackler. Very good tackler. Good pursuit angles. Fast enough to get the job done. I really like him. I think that he's a fantastic football player. Back here at free safety, again, I think you're going to get an in route and like a little, almost like a slant by number 1 here against the Jets. Of course, they lost this game against the Jets. Ball gets tipped. Bates gets an interception. Almost takes it back to the house. So he actually, he's been around. He's around the football. He's not the guy making a break to get the interception on this play like the Titans game where he's intercepting it in front of the intended receiver. This one's tipped. But look, as a Ravens fan, and this is a Ravens channel generally, Ed Reed got a lot of interceptions like this, didn't he? Didn't he get a lot of interceptions where the ball was tipped? He's around the football, happens to be in the right place, and makes a huge play. In most cases, takes it to the house. Bates is quick enough to get the job done. I like him. I've always liked him. There's going to be 2 plays here in this video that I think are very special. One of which is this one right here, interception in the AFC Championship game. You got trips to the right of the offense. Generally, if number 3 goes vertical, it's going to be covered by the backside safety, unless you're playing some version of man-free, which when the Bengals brought number 33 on, his name escapes me right now, good football player. When they brought him on, oftentimes on third downs, it was to play man against tight ends. He did the same thing against Mark Andrews. But in any case, when he goes vertical, oftentimes the safety on the backside will cover it. That's not exactly the route that he runs. I think he kind of brings it a little more shallow, and they're trying to target Tyreek Hill, obviously. I think I can use this play. I don't think that anyone from the NFL has broken it down, and you'll see Jessie Bates stay on. He's lined up very deep, obviously, but it's third down. I think it's third and 10. So you can see this safety here is occupied by Kelsey's route, and then Hill is running it vertical right over the top of him. Looks like two-man to me, cover two-man. And then Bates makes a just great play on the ball. You'll get the end zone angle as well to see this. He's there right to me, right at the moment when the ball touches Tyreek Hill's hands. Some people think he's there a little early. Whatever. Maybe he's there a touch early, but it is a fantastic football play. Look at the timing. I mean, you see his left hand here arriving right at the time that the football does. And the football reaches Tyreek Hill's hands. Beautiful play. He's able to get in there, disrupt Tyreek Hill trying to catch the football. That ends up being Tyreek Hill's last target as a Chiefs receiver because now he's in Miami. And then Von Bell, who's another fantastic and very underrated football player, gets the interception. 3 interceptions that kind of show you his playmaking skills. All right. This is against the Packers in the regular season. He's here. The other safety is going to roll up. And then Bates is going to kind of roll over. And the reason why they're doing that is because this is Davante Adams. Watch the route that he runs and then how Bates reacts to it. You almost get a huge collision here. And then you'll get the end zone angle so you can see what Aaron Rodgers is reading. And he almost decleats Davante Adams. I'm glad that there wasn't a huge collision there. But in any case, as the play develops the first time, watch Rodgers a little bit. I will bring it back. And then just for your own awareness, that is Jessie Bates over there lined up as the right safety. And then we know that him and the other safety are going to spin. You can see from the end zone angle, he looked at that safety initially. And then he brought it back, to Adams, which is his go-to guy. You almost had a big collision. Good break on the football. Didn't make the play necessarily, but he was there in case Adams got his hand on the ball. Another example of them really rotating and focusing their coverage on Adams is not really a rotation. They're going to play man, I believe, with outside leverage by this corner, and then Jessie Bates is here. He's going to sit down inside of Adams' route. So some people will call it a bracket, a double team, whatever you want to call it. Immediately when the ball is snapped and you'll see the end zone angle, Rodgers is seeing this, so he kind of goes away from that read. He does convert this. This is late in the game. I think it leads to, the very next play after this is the game-winning field goal by the Packers. I think they won this game 27-24. Trey Hendrickson gets heavy pressure, who was a great signing by the Bengals front office. Gets heavy pressure. Bates comes off of Adams. You'll see it better from the end zone angle. Makes a huge hit on, I think it's Cobb. You saw Aaron Rodgers' helmet look over here immediately. He was looking at Bates, see what Bates was doing. He saw the bracket, so he said, okay, well, let me just go to the other side of the field. Ball snapped again. We'll pause it. You can see immediately. This is Bates he's looking at right now. He's looking at Bates right now off screen in the bottom right. You saw where he was aligned from the all-22. So he's like, okay, I can't target Adams because they're bracketing or doubling him. Let me go back the other way. The pass rush, there's an exchange between Hendrickson and the D tackle. So he's flushed out. He almost went back to Adams, but he was well covered, and then fits an amazing throw in here that, again, Bates doesn't break the pass up. He certainly doesn't intercept it. Makes a huge hit, gives himself up for the team, takes an elbow, shoulder, forearm, something in the chest. Looks hurt to me at the end of the play. But he's there to make plays. He's there to break the ball up. Even though he didn't have as many tackles this season, I think Jessie Bates is the same player. He's 25 years old, I believe. 25 years old. Kind of unbelievable. A lot of free safety play at any level, NFL, college, high school, youth football, is going to really be represented by these next two plays, which is inconsequential to our breakdown of Jessie Bates, but I'm pointing this out to you because it takes hours and hours to find plays that represent multiple plays. So I'm going to show you, I think, like 10 plays, and I'm trying to represent 40 plays to you because that's what I pulled, in terms of my analysis. But you don't want to watch 40 plays. At least I don't think so. That last play, he's the last guy in there on the run, not involved in a tackle at all. He's the third level of the defense. Same thing here, third level of the defense. There's the first level. There's the second level. This is the Bengals 6-2 look that they used against the Ravens as well. And then these three guys in, what would certainly look like a cover 3 or man-free cover 1 alignment are the third level of the defense. Just so you know, that's Von Bell there lined up at inside backer. The other inside backer, number 57, who's a really good football player as well, is lined up here as an edge defender. So they've created a 6-2 look out of their, what would be the 3-4 personnel. It's a pass play, a lot of free safety play. Looks like this, where you have the free safety sitting in the middle of the field waiting to break on the ball. You've got what looks like two receivers getting ready to cross, even though Julio Jones is kind of checking his route up on the hash. There's a little bit of pressure on Tannehill, who comes back to A.J. Brown. Complete, nice gain, later on in that playoff game. So, again, a lot of free safety play. You go to evaluate it or talk about it, and there's inconsequential plays 40% of the time, maybe even more than 40% of the time, where the ball is completed underneath and they're not involved in the coverage. They didn't impact it at all. Same thing trying to evaluate Marcus Williams' film, to be honest with you. But when they get opportunities, Marcus Williams, Jessie Bates, those guys make plays. Or they impact the quarterback's read progression, like I showed you with Bates bracketing Devontae Adams a couple of plays ago. They impact the progression. Rodgers couldn't get rid of the ball quick. Has to go deeper in the progression. By that time, the pass rush is there. Now Aaron Rodgers is just a god of quarterbacking. So he was able to complete that ball, help the team get a win. All right, this is an amazing play from 2020. Bates is over here in the box now, so a totally different technique. Not playing free safeties, playing nickel safety. That is something the Bengals normally do with Von Bell, who is exceptional at it, if you ask me. And in my opinion, Bates is reading some combination of this H-back, fullback, tight end, whatever, and the end man on the line of scrimmage. So he's probably looking for what happens with this gap, and then what happens with this guy who is, I believe, personnel-wise, a fullback. Beautiful play, forced fumble late in the game. I think this might be overtime. 2020 film, I believe. I could be, maybe I'm wrong because Hendrickson is on the field. But a great play. Great play. You can see he's not looking at the quarterback to see if the quarterback has the football. There's a lot of people that do that even in the NFL, and they get out of position. He read a key, which is this fullback here, who's moving in this direction to kick out Sam Hubbard. So I've paused this video, okay? As I hit play here, you'll see how triggered Jessie Bates is. And what I mean is it looks like he's shot out of a cannon. Once his key goes away, he's gone. It's a great play. It is a forced fumble. I will give you the all-22 so you can see that. It's a beautiful football play, especially for somebody who I think skill-wise is probably more suited. I shouldn't say more suited. He's very exceptional at being a free safety. That H-back is going to go block away, and that's going to trigger Bates. Watch his fit. Watch how he fits in this gap that develops that, honestly, Dalvin Cook probably could have had a solid 5, 6, 7-yard gain if it weren't for Jessie Bates' presence there. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section, about Bates on that play. Playoff game, 2021 here at Tennessee. He's in the box. One of the Titans' patented run concepts whereby they bring a receiver in the box in 12 personnel. So what I mean by that is you've got a tight end here, and a tight end here. They're next to each other. And then A.J. Brown is one of the receivers, but he's physical, he's strong, and he's willing to block. So they're all going to work this way and try to scoop and secure the edge. Sometimes it'll be a run concept away from there, but they're giving Derrick Henry the ability to maybe bend this thing back. This one's a little bit more, I think, downhill like this, and it gives what they're doing on the backside is they're giving him the option to maybe now bounce it outside. Watch the job that Jessie Bates does, and then I think he plays it out to number 22, Awuzie. I always feel like I'm mispronouncing his name, and I don't want to do that because he's a hell of a football player. Taking on the inside gap. Look, he's got the inside gap here. This guy's got the inside gap here. They're trying to close that off to Derrick Henry, make him bounce it outside to the unblocked player. You can see the unblocked player coming downhill on it now. Jessie Bates has shed this block by A.J. Brown, by the way, if you didn't notice that. And then he's the first guy to make contact. He's a special football player. You get the all 22 of this now. That's Brown that just walked into the box here. Watch the block contact that occurs between those two. Bates gets to the inside, which is the gap that he's being told he's got to defend, because Awuzie will play this outside gap. It might be Eli Apple, actually. They both got the first number 2 in their numbers. That is Eli Apple. Great play by Jessie Bates. Last one I'm going to show you. Clearly, at this point, if you haven't noticed, if you've listened this long, I think Jessie Bates is a hell of a football player. I got nothing, mostly good things to say about him. The title of this video was clickbait. We'll be able to see who watched the video and who just commented based on the title after the video posts. You get a screen here to this number 1 receiver, and Bates reads it. He's either reading the quarterback or he's reading the right tackle for run pass, possibly screen. But watch his reaction. He's triggered, and then he's shot out of a cannon. Has a burst, great tackling ability. Hope he gets paid. Not sure that the Bengals can afford him. I'm not a person that studies the cap. I'll be honest with you. I'm not capable of studying the cap and then giving you the content that I'm currently trying to. Whatever level you think my content is at, it would certainly suffer if I started to study the cap a whole lot. But from what I've read and understood a little bit, they're going to have difficulty paying all those guys who they've got a lot of young talent on that team. You can see the ball's in the air. He's already gone. He might have been reading quarterback. He might have been reading the tackle for run pass or for screen. But in any case, fits this thing perfectly, makes the tackle, inside shoulder. He's fun to watch for me, being a defensive guy. And even though I'm not a Bengals fan, I'm a Ravens fan, Jessie Bates is fun to watch. I root for guys like this, especially those on the defensive side of the ball, especially those that are at what some people call undervalued or marginalized positions. Kind of unbelievable to me. You can watch the film of Jessie Bates. You can see how his style of play, if you ask me, was the foundation of the Bengals defensive back play in 2021. He had been there playing well. I didn't show you a touchdown pass that he gave up against the Chargers. They were like asleep for a quarter and a half at home against the Chargers. Ended up losing that game after a pretty cool comeback. But I feel like his play established what the standard for the Bengals defensive backs. And then as they acquired guys, Eli Apple fit into that. Mike Hilton fit into that, who came over from the Steelers. Von Bell they already had, who's a real versatile safety, plays nickel, plays some half-field safety, occasionally plays free safety, like I showed you in a couple of plays on this video. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. What you think of my film breakdown, the thoughts that I have on his play. I didn't spend a lot of time on personnel on the offenses they were facing. I think I made mention of it enough to get the point across. You see the interception on the first play. He's got A.J. Brown and Julio Jones lined up to his left. The offense is right, top side of the screen. And he doesn't cheat over there too much. In my opinion, he's kind of staying in the middle of the field intentionally to let Tannehill pre-snap think that deep curl comeback route that Julio Jones ran is going to be there. Versus the 2 plays I showed you that was kind of like safety rotations against the Packers, where he was like, I don't want to be too late getting over to Devontae Adams. I'd rather be there early and at least show Aaron Rodgers, hey, we're taking this away from you, or we're at least trying to take this away from you by alignment, and then a bracket or double team post-snap. Let me know what you think of my breakdown in the comment section and what you think of Jessie Bates, how this situation could play out. I hope he reports, even though I'm a Ravens fan. You want to see every team in the AFC North be at full strength. If you win that division, to me, you're a Super Bowl contender. I think that's been the historical standard for the AFC North. If you win the division, you're generally a Super Bowl contender. So I would want the Ravens to be able to win the division against a Cincinnati Bengals team that's full strength. It's going to be a tall task. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you enjoy the comment, please consider doing that now. I also have a Patreon, and there's channel memberships enabled on my channel, which are other ways to support me if you choose to support me monetarily. If not, if you have other ideas for player film studies like this one, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to follow up as soon as possible.